Hello, this is Heather. If you haven't been here before, welcome to my channel. For those that have been with me for a while, I thank you for coming back. We do a little bit of everything here, lots of different genres and lots of different styles. So today, let's get started with the first craft. I'm going to take this frame I got at Dollar General for $1.50 on clearance. And I started by taking off the back. There's some of this foam around the edge. I took out the seashells that were inside to use for another project, and I took the glass out. I also did end up removing the ribbon for the hanger. So after I get everything taken out, I want to use this background that's in there. It's like a light turquoise blue color, and it looks like shiplap. I'm just going to leave it alone. And I found this vintage Santa on thegraphicsfairy.com, and I thought it would look neat to do a mixed media piece using this Santa and the words "A Merry Christmas," and I'll just put them on this background that was already printed. So I'm just getting everything cut up, and the greatest thing about mixed media is you can make it personal. You can use what you have on hand, and so I'm just kind of playing with things as I go to decide what I want where. And I'm doing this video as a pastel Christmas, but you certainly can do these in any colors you want. If you don't belong to a group like the Graphics Fairy or have a graphic that you want online that you can find, you can certainly use old cards. Maybe there's a Christmas card you got last year or one of the years before, and you really like the cover of it, and there's part of it you could cut out to use. Anything like that will work. And you can make any color that fits your decor. And that's the best thing about mixed media, is they can work however you need them to be. So I'm just putting Mod Podge on these and getting them all in place. And I'm just kind of rolling them smooth to get any wrinkles out. And then it looks a little bare, so I want to make some snowflakes to put around it. I have this little snowflake punch I'm using, and I'm just taking some white paper, and I'll put a little Mod Podge on them and just stick them here and there on the blue part of our canvas. I decided I don't want any on the Santa part. I just want the snow on the background. And then I'm going to take my frayed burlap ink pad and just kind of go around the edges. And then also put some on my finger to go around the edges of the photos that I cut out. I want them to look a little more grungy. And after I get those all done, I need to seal these snowflakes down. So since I'd only put a little dab in the middle to get them to stick, I'm just going through first and Mod Podging the snowflakes. Because if I went back and forth and did the whole thing, some of the snowflake, the edges that are more intricate, they might get bent back or twisted around. So I just kind of went over those first to get them to lay flat. And now I'm just going to Mod Podge the whole thing. Get a nice protective coat on there. I'm also going to paint the frame. And I'm just going to take a foam brush and some white paint. And I'm just going to kind of go over it real lightly so that it kind of looks like it's got a green pattern with it. And using the foam brush and just kind of dragging it down does a sufficient job of that. I didn't need to stress it any more than that was. So I've got my picture in there, and I'm going to add some of this silver tinseled stems. They're really pretty and glittery, and since this is kind of a vintage look, I thought these looked very vintagey. They look kind of like the aluminum silver trees way back when. And I'm going to just tie a pink bow to go in the middle of the stems. And I will glue that on with hot glue. I just need to cut down the ribbon. And then I do end up putting a pink ribbon on the back for a hanger. And this is how it came out. Our second craft we're going to do that's inspired by a vintage look is going to be to make these small little picture frames on a little palette of sorts. So I'm starting with some gift tags that were on thegraphicsfairy.com also, and they had all different kinds you could print out. You can also just use gift tags that you find at the store. I know that Dollar Tree has some, and Walmart has a lot of them that are these rectangular pieces. And you can have ones that either go horizontal or vertically. And maybe you just want to put pictures of your kids or grandkids in there. Whatever you want to put in there works great. But I'm going with my vintage inspired pastel colors. So I found this one with this little girl on it, and I'm just cutting it down. Even though it's a shape of a tag, I can kind of get it cut so it's big enough to go in the frame. And then I'm going to go ahead and just kind of line them up and see. It's going to take 8 of the bigger popsicle sticks. I'm taking off the backs of the frame so I can see how it sits on there nice and flat. The popsicle stick and frames are from Dollar Tree. I'm going to take my little square here and I'm going to line it up so that everything matches up and it's all the same clear crossed. Then I'm going to take some hot glue and I'm going to take a tongue depressor and put it towards a horizontal along the whole, a diagonal across the whole thing. And then I'm going to take 2 little small pieces that I'll put horizontally. So it's just going to make kind of a little frame or a little backdrop for our photo frame. And I did 2 of them. Now I'm going to brush a very light coat of white. And I don't really necessarily want it perfect or very saturated because I want it to look a little bit distressed and older. So I'm just doing a dry brush, maybe a little heavier than a dry brush on all of the popsicle sticks. Leave me a message down in the comments and let me know what your Christmas style and theme is going to be this year. Do you do certain colors or different themes? Do you do different time periods. What's your favorite way to decorate? I like a little bit of everything, so I'm going to do some different trees and themes in different rooms of the house this year. So now I got the backdrops dry. I'm just going to glue the frames on with some hot glue. And then I decide they need a little bow or something on them to kind of glitz them up a little bit. So I took some sparkly metallic silver, and I'm just going to put a little bow up at the middle top of each of these picture frames. And you can, of course, paint the popsicle sticks any color you want. If you have pictures of your kids in there, maybe they have on a dress with red accents and you want to put the white frame and the red popsicle sticks, that would look really sharp, or anything like that. Whatever your imagination can come up with for you. I'm going to put these in my shabby chic kind of vintage room, and so these will be hopefully on a bigger tree. We'll see if I get a big tree yet this year, or if I'm going to use my little one. And this is just me putting on a hanger on the back. I'm taking some more of the silver metallic ribbon, and this is what I got at Walmart for 47 cents a roll. And once I get these on, that's all there is to these. And here's how they turned out. My last pastel craft is going to be this gingerbread house, and they have these at Dollar Tree. I'm sure you've seen them. I decided I wanted to make mine the pastel colors, kind of like the old Putz houses used to be. The Putz houses used to be made out of glitter and a lot of times like cardboard or paper. And they were really fancy, and they'd have glitter on them and bottle brush trees around them. Well, this, of course, is made out of a thin wood, and it's not quite a Putz house, but I kind of wanted to make it look similar to that instead of a traditional gingerbread house. So I'm just painting. I'm using pinks and light blue, white, and a light green. And I'm just taking my time and going around and painting. It took me a little while, but not too bad. I did use a cream color inside the windows. It's a creamy yellow. After I got everything painted, I did 2 coats on most of it. And then I took these fabric glue paint, and I'm just going through and using those to kind of make them pop up a little bit. They kind of are like a puffy paint. And I had pink, purple, and green. So I'm just using those alternating around the roof line and the rest of the house. This way, in person, it kind of gives it a little bit of a 3D effect for that part at least. And they're a little bit glittery. I've had these 3 fabric paints forever, and I finally had a project I can use them on. I always buy things when they're very, very cheap and affordable, and sometimes it takes me years, but I eventually find a spot for it. Now I'm going to take some glitter enamel, and it's kind of chunky glitter. I'm just going to put some Mod Podge along the roof, and then I'll just sprinkle some of the glitter enamel on. And you can surely use regular glitter, or if you've got the really fine glitter dust, whatever you think will look best for yours. And of course, you can paint it in the typical brown colors with the candy around it, whatever looks best and works with your decor. This was easy, nothing too fancy or hard. I want to thank you for joining me today, and I will see you all next time. Bye.